Hello, Independent Music Awards. My name is Tyson Allison. I'm part of the David Foster Wallace project, and we are nominated for the category of concept album. And here's that album right here. And I made this with a collaborator of mine, my friend Aaron Kerr. And this is called To Combat Loneliness, Compositions Based on the Works of David Foster Wallace, by myself and Aaron Kerr. And just real quick, it was a long distance collaboration that took a long time, and it's musical pieces that are based on specific characters and plot lines in the works of David Foster Wallace, who is like my favorite author. And I've got a whole bunch of his books here right behind me. So we've got a few questions from the IMAs to answer, and we're sending in video answers. Aaron is doing his own. I am sheltering here in Milwaukee, and Aaron is sheltering in St. Paul, Minnesota. So look for his answers as well. So the first question is, describe the moment you first learned you were nominated for an IMA. Who did you tell first? So basically I was sitting on the couch right over there with my wife watching TV, and I just grabbed my phone to check my emails, and there were two emails from the IMA, and I opened the one that just said the nominees were announced. I did not open the one that said I was a nominee first. So I got into the IMA website, clicked on nominee announcements, and I was just scrolling through the nominees, and came across concept album, which is what I submitted for, and saw our project name there, and I was just kind of like, couldn't really believe it. I kind of had to let it sink in for a second, and right away I just said, "Hey Michelle, oh my god, like our DFW album got nominated in the concept album category," and just kind of freaked out, basically. And she went off to open up a bottle of wine to celebrate with, and I ran into the back room with my phone and called Aaron, my collaborator, and just told him the good news over the phone. And that just kind of started a string of phone calls and stuff with friends and family members that night, and it was just a great memory. I won't forget that. Question 2 is, what does this nomination mean to you as an artist and for your career? First of all, it means a lot to me. It's a huge honor just to be nominated, and it means a lot to me by way of recognition and justification, and kind of as fuel for more projects in the future. I've been making records for about 20 years, and several of them have been with Aaron, and we've done a lot of strange instrumental things, and we've also done more conventional stuff with lyrics and normal song structures and things like that, but most of them have kind of slipped under the radar of the conventional definition of success. So eventually I just started my own record label to put out music by me and friends of mine, and just to get our projects out there in a way that felt more real or whatever. And every time you make a record, you do what you can to get some recognition, get it out there, sell some copies, have people listen to it, and often it it just kind of sputters out after a while, but that you'll do it all again, because that's what we do, it's what we love, and you kind of look forward to making that next record. So to have something that we did get some recognition, get nominated, get heard by strangers and whatnot, it just feels really great. It feels like, we're not totally crazy. that someone heard it and thought it was cool and thought it was worth putting it up there for other people to hear. So, you know, sometimes as a musician you feel like Sisyphus or something, and you're just pushing the rock up the hill. And with this record, we kind of felt like we pushed the rock up the hill and we actually got it to stay there instead of rolling back down again. So it's just really cool. And you know, at the end of the day, though, I hope that the nomination like gets people to check out this record and other projects that I've worked on and that Aaron's worked on. Maybe have people check out a record label, and I hope that it exposes David Foster Wallace to more readers, and because I think all of his works are very worthwhile to read, and ultimately I also hope that it shines a light on Aaron Kerr as a cello player, because he is just amazing. Third question. Describe your work in 5 words. For me, I would say modern, collaborative, instrumental, interpretive, and homage. That's how I would describe this particular record for us. Question number 4. How does being an independent artist influence your work? And creatively, is it more liberating or challenging? To me, independent usually means different. And I think a lot of independent artists operate kind of off the beaten path or outside of what's, you know, usually mainstream kind of music. And how it influences me to be an artist like that is I think that it allows my mind to stay open to all sorts of works and not just, you know, shut out entire genres or anything of music. I think it's fun to find those independent artists and, you know, talk to my friends and musicians that I know I kind of have a common ear with. And we can kind of point each other in different directions and say, you know, oh, did you check this person out or check this album out or whatever. I think that's really cool, and usually one artist will lead to another, and that kind of discovery and yeah, I don't know, I guess discovery of different artists like that is always rewarding in and of itself, but also really healthy for the music community. As far as being independent, being liberating or challenging, for me it's definitely liberating. I only have to answer to myself, and I can put whatever I want out there into the world. Any idea I've got is valid and holds water and can be worth exploring. So there's no one there to tell me no, so I can try to do whatever I want. And I like to look for new sounds. I like making kind of strange music and whatnot. And I just feel really fortunate that I've got some musician friends that are on the same page as me, and they're like willing to go down that road with me as well. Last question, number 5. What is and what I think is an underrated album or song? That's a super loaded question. I could think of tons of records that I think are underrated, but I chose for mine personally. This is the one that kept kind of coming to the top of my head. This album right here. This record is called Lost Time, and it's by the band The 12 Rods. And the 12 Rods were this group in Minneapolis that when I used to live there would love to go see. They were actually signed for a while on the V2 label, put a couple records out on that label. But unfortunately they got dropped by that label and had to put this record out by themselves. And it's really just a gem of an indie rock record. It's they just happened to change their lineup at the time, and it's got like one of my favorite drummers, Dave King, on it. So he was like a new member in the band, and this is the only record that they did with him as their drummer. But you know, it's just a great record from start to finish, and it's got like spacey atmospherics, some weird sounds, weird tones. It's got really clever counter rhythms, brother harmonies, and just really like genre bending songwriting by their lead singer Ryan Alcott. And you know, even though this record came out in 2002, so I mean, wow, it's 18 years old already. That's really crazy. But every time I tell a friend about it, all I can say to describe it is that it sounds like music from the future. And 18 years on, it still sounds like music from the future to me. Great record. Totally recommend it. So thank you, IMAs, for nominating Aaron and myself for this project. It's really huge, and you know, we'll be tuned in when the announcements come out. So thank you so much.